What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Fire Session podcast. I'm your girl, Daci J, here with my boy, Big Ken. What's up? Happy Thursday, Big Ken.
What's up? Happy Thursday. Man, this has been one of them weeks where it's been a long week, my people.
Yes.
I've been busy. I don't know what's going on this week, but I am ready for this weekend for sure.
I know. I plan to sleep the weekend away.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I plan on not working. That's what I plan on. I plan on not working. That's the difficult part about working from home, people.
Man.
Like you try to clock out, but because you're already at home, you have a tendency to continue working on stuff sometimes.
Yep.
I don't know about y'all, but if I'm trying to do something, trying to get something accomplished at work, like I keep working on it and past 5 o'clock and sometimes 7:30. And it's like it's starting to run over into my real life. So I gotta find a stopping point.
No, I've been at home before the pandemic, so I look forward to 5 o'clock. I actually hit that button at 4:55. Like, all right, come on, 5 more minutes, and let's get on up out of here.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? At the very beginning of the pandemic, when we worked from home, of course, then I was just like, I'm ready to get off so I can go in here and watch all these Netflix movies and Netflix shows I'm trying to catch up on. Because prior to the pandemic, I wasn't really a big TV watcher, but I can't lie, during the pandemic, I watched everything.
Man, we were going back and forth. Did you watch this? Okay,
yes.
Because I gotta go finish Ozark.
Hey, Ozark, I became an addict of 60 Days In.
Oh my God, you plugged that show so hard.
60 Days In, I watched all 7 seasons of it or whatever it is. I watched every season. I have something. Now I don't think I'm crazy, y'all. I do have issues sometimes watching these shows like Jail, like what's the other show? Orange Is the New Black. Like I love that. I watched that. What's the other show? I can't think of it right now. But it's a show that's over in Australia. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of the name of it. But it's kind of like Orange Is the New Black. Okay. So it's an amazing show. But like I said, the jail shows just do something for me, I guess. And listen here. I'm going to tell you straight up like this, though. I don't ever want to go. I don't ever want to experience it.
You preparing yourself? Like, what's up?
No. But I mean, I'm not trying to do anything to go to jail. But one thing that might bode well for me, I have a little knowledge because I didn't watch the shows, and because I'm a big guy, maybe maybe that might help me a little bit. But
you might get jumped because you look like Suge Knight. So I
mean, it's a few things that might work out for me and work against me. But hopefully and prayerfully, I never do anything that put me in that position.
Amen.
So I am not trying to go to jail at all.
At all. Good on jail.
Hey, I'm good on jail because I see what goes on and the problems they have. I don't want no parts of that.
No, not during the pandemic. You're going to get corona for sure.
No, I don't care if it's pandemic. I don't care what's going on. If I was part of if I got the offer to do 60 days in and they was going to give me $50,000 to stay in jail for 60 days, I'm going to have to turn them boys down.
Oh, okay. I was like, where you going with this?
Nah. Hey, you know what? If I was on the first couple of seasons of 60 Days In, maybe. But now that show has been out so long, it's just certain things that tip the inmates off. And they start walking around saying, hey, you 60 Days In, huh? So, I mean, every episode of the past, like the last, I think 2 or 3 seasons, somebody got pointed out as being in the show and had to get them out.
Protect them. Oh
so
my God.
Like no. I be in there telling jokes and trying to be cool with people, and that might get me shanked. So if I go in there acting hard, that might get me shanked.
Yep.
It's a calculated risk.
I'm
just gonna leave the jail thing alone. Okay.
Yeah. I got the braids, but I ain't for jail.
I mean, you got the braids, and you know what I'm saying. You got some height on you. You know what I'm saying. You might go for a nice piece of trade up in there.
You know what? What? How you gonna sell me?
You know what I'm saying? By 8 lunches. You know what I'm saying?
No, 8. I'm worth more than 8 lunches. Now,
buy 4 packs of cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you know what? I'm not gonna play with you at all. We're not doing this. FYI, this show is not about jail today.
It's not.
So I don't know why.
It's far from it, y'all. All right, let's get to the proceedings.
Bro.
We got a special guest with us today.
Yes.
And when I say a special guest, for me, it's different because he's more like a brother to me. You know what I'm saying? It's not many people I say that with. It's a guy that he's a local celebrity. I'm gonna tell
Yes.
y'all that up front. The man, he got his own following. And if you are the type of person, most of these people around here, you got something to do with high school sports. You've been
Yes.
to a football game. You listen to the radio. I know you've heard about him. You've heard him. But I'm just going to give him his due diligence, man. He's a
Yes.
veteran of the radio game.
Okay.
I mean, you've heard him on the Dallas-based radio station K104.
Okay.
K104 Sports. His name is Mr. High School Holla. He gives out awards to the offensive and defensive MVPs every week. Beast of the week.
Yes.
I ain't never got that when I was in high school because they ain't had that, you know what I'm saying? But I bet you I would have got it at least one time because that's what I was. But anyway, we going to bring to you today Mr. Ron Murray,
Hey.
Mr. High School Holla. Welcome to the show,
Yes,
Ron
sir.
Murray,
Big Ken, Miss
a.k.a.
Daci.
Mr. High School Holla.
I didn't even have to
Yes.
pay you for that.
Nah,
Man, that was an amazing intro. I didn't have to pay you for that. But nah, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Big Ken. Thank you, Miss Daci, just for allowing me to be on your platform. Hey, the fire session, we here.
nah, yeah, you ain't gotta pay me for that, bro. You do your due diligence, cause you know what? You a true legend in the game, though.
Man,
You
I
know what I'm saying?
appreciate it, man.
Like you elevating, and a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, know you for what you do, right now. But
Right.
we're gonna get into it in the interview. They don't know how long you've actually been involved in radio.
Yeah, it's not overnight. There's a lot of things. If you want it, it's not overnight. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because a lot of people then they see these people in radio and they see them, these radio personalities, and they like, man, I would love to get on the radio and just talk about music and play songs all day. But man, them people just didn't pop up on their radio like that.
No,
No.
not at all. Not
Yeah,
at
they
all.
had to go through some things to get to some things, as we
Yes.
say. So, we're going to get into Ron's story. But before we get started, we just like tell the people kind of like your background, where you from, like maybe what high school, what college, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, the hood you represent or whatever, whatever you want to tell them about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people can get to know who Ron Murray is as a person.
Okay. Hey, my name's Ron Murray. Of course, that's my name is my name. That's my government name. Some people have on-air names. No knock to that at all, but my name is my name. I grew up in Killeen, Texas. A lot of people know about Killeen, Texas, Fort Hood, military brat. Moved around for a second, but like I said, spent the majority of my time in Killeen. Played sports there, football, and I wrestled. And then, I decided to go to college. And, it was one of those things where I had no plans to go to college. And Paul Quinn College, that was my best option at the time. That was my quickest option. And it was really one of the best things that definitely happened to me. Growing up in Killeen, then coming to Dallas, being dropped off in Highland Hills. Now, granted, I didn't know Highland Hills was like that, but I never had any problems at the same time. So going to Paul Quinn, was able to go there and definitely being mentored by Cheryl Smith with the Paul Quinn College Communications Program. I give her so much credit to every part of any success I've had, and especially just the fact of, not going off kilter just a little bit here. I never really thought that a woman would be able to mentor me, but someone like Cheryl Smith, she was definitely able to sew into me, and I give her so much credit for everything that I've been able to accomplish. So going to Paul Quinn, then after that, played a little football there, played 2 years, but then, reality sets in. I wasn't on scholarship, wasn't about to be put on scholarship. My name wasn't about to be called by Roger Goodell. My mom was paying all this money for me to be in school. The radio situation was there, and hey, I've been able to make it work. And I have graduate degrees from Dallas Baptist University as well. Shout out to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
But tell the people when you first started in radio. Well, let me ask you this:
Mhm.
what even made you want to be involved in communications and radio? Like, were you a talkative person already?
What's interesting about that is how things come full circle. And sometimes when you achieve certain places, when you're an adult, you look back. So my dad, he's someone loves music, listens to all types of music, very eclectic, and he has just mountains of cassette tapes. So when I would go see him over the summer or spring break or whatever, and he'd work, I would just record myself on the radio with the cassette tapes, but never at no point in time did I ever think that I would be working at a top five market station. You know, I'm just thinking about killing time, talking to myself, waiting for my dad to get back from work. So with that, my goal really, I just wanted to work in sports. That was really my goal growing up. I didn't know necessarily what it was going to be, but really I can just say for the most part that not saying that I didn't have goals and aspirations, but I know I wasn't going to make it to the NBA. So that doesn't mean that you may want to work for the NBA, but there's so many other jobs, of
Right.
course, besides just being a player. And I thought I was a hooper too, but yeah, that that didn't work out. But but no, I always wanted to work in sports, whether it been coaching, whether it been facilities, whether it be scouting. So then when I did have the opportunity to go to college, radio was what opened the door there. And of course, like I mentioned, Miss Smith was working at the station at the time that I still work at now, Service Broadcast, and she had her own show. And what she would do is she would bring us in and we would get an internship. And then, it started from a midnight to five internship, and I've been able to turn that into over a decade. And I'm just able to, I'm glad that it's been that long because in this business, it's tough, and a lot of people don't get a run like that sometimes.
True.
Wow. So you started out working from midnight to 5 a.m.?
Right. So I have to get into the whole part of it all to when it started and when everything transitioned. So I brought up the fact that I was playing football, and this was during the summertime. Now, granted, I got so much love for my Paul Quinn football, brought out my hoodie, but it was or my sweater, but it was a different type of program. So with that, I was going to my internship, going to summer school, working out with the football team, then a corresponding time to eat. And yes, I did have a midnight to five internship, but I would go in the middle of the day just to learn other things as well. So at that time, I had my little car. I'll be driving from Paul Quinn out in Grand Prairie to Grand Prairie to where the station would be. But I wouldn't stay the whole time because the show that I was working on also, Talking Sports with Roger B. Brown, rest in peace to him. I owe him a lot of credit as well to the things I've amassed. I would be on his show and learning different things as far as like show prep, scheduling, just radio 101. So really, it was the midnight to five overnight, but it was also just going there during the day and just on my own time to start that. Then when I stopped playing football, that's when I just went full throttle and said, "Hey, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm not going back home. Not like going back home in the sense like I'm a visit, but I'm not living in Killeen, Texas no more. No knock on it though, if that makes sense.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
You said
No.
it. I didn't. I didn't.
I mean, I used to live there,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
she
you
used to
I
live
live
there.
there
there's
Okay,
too.
you live there. You understand.
I'm
It's
married
different.
military, so
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
all
okay.
I got
Yeah.
is a Kmart and
It's
HEB. So
yeah. So and it's like growing up there, and it's like I got love for Killeen, but it's a very comfortable place where you can go there, you can get you a nice house. But I just
yeah,
knew what I wanted to do. I had to, it wasn't going to be in Killeen. And I kind of had a moment where I felt I got slighted, and I used that as motivation because I was at Renaissance Records. If you're from Killeen, you know about Renaissance Records. It's like a legendary record store. So I saw a guy from the local radio station. So this is after my freshman year at Paul Quinn before I started the internship because I didn't start the internship at the station until after my sophomore year. So I asked the guy, I said, how do I get on? Do y'all have internships? So he was telling me I had to go to Waco. Now, granted, that could have been totally true, but 18, 19-year-old me took that as total disrespect. Like you're trying to tell me to go somewhere else. So I was like, all right, bet. Watch what I do in Dallas. And granted, like I
mm,
said, I just took it as that momentum to keep working. But I stayed up here. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that, you know what? A lot of people don't have the dedication that you had to step out on your own and go up to the station on your own time when you weren't expected to be there doing the internship in order to, glean that information and get those experiences that you did. And that shows a willingness, and that from the outside, you know what I'm saying, the people that are around, they see that dedication as well. Hey, he's here even when he's not supposed to be. And a lot of these young people don't have that kind of drive.
Hmm.
Right.
And I think that's another attribute that you have that has helped you sustain, your legacy at the station and be there this long,
Hmm.
because you are right. Radio is one of those industries that'll chew you up and spit you out, from what I've been told. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
definitely. I have a true story about that. It was really my first big boy story because, of course, you expressed it. Me and Big King go way back. My first real job when I got, because I interned for probably like 5 months straight, and then when I finally got put on payroll, I was working at Soul 73 KKDA. And if you, of course, a legendary station, but sadly it was sold, and then at that point um they let go of 19 or 22 people, and I was blessed along with two other people to still be in the station. But just like that, if something is sold, then literally the next day changes happen. And if you're not, I say there has to be you have to be in a certain space emotionally to be able to handle that, because some people can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, that's one of those things that I guess is one of those things that I guess you have to be prepared for, and going into that type of job, that
Right.
what I'm saying, it's kind of like, it's in a lot of ways it's kind of like sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could go in there one day, unless you the star player, right?
Yeah.
Like, it could be, you could come in tomorrow and they like, you know what? Yeah, see, what had happened was, and we're gonna have to go ahead and let you go.
Hmm.
But these people over here that are on the marquee, 9 times out of 10, they not moving, and even if the station is sold or switched over, they gonna stay because they own the marquee.
Right.
Right. And it all depends on what whoever they sold the signal to, or the station. So as far as Soul 73 KKDAM, it literally turned into Soul 73 because it was sold to a Korean station, a Korean company bought it. So,
Oh wow.
oh yeah, it was totally different. So at that point, you know they transitions happen. They were able to put their place, and of course now we're at Soul 7, excuse me, we're at K104 and KRB now. But shout out to Soul 73, because it's definitely a staple in the community still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Nah, that's a fact. Soul 73, low key, I grew up on that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because riding in the car with my mom, she used to be listening to
Mm.
Soul 73. Try to turn it down when
KKDA.
Dear Crooner come
Mm.
on,
The
try
deer.
to turn that thing
Yeah. Yeah.
down. And I'm like this, I'm trying to hear the Dear Crooner, I'm trying to hear you know what I'm saying, the
Mm-mm.
situations, the grown folks situations that's
Yeah.
going on.
Oh my
Became very familiar
god.
with Willis Johnson.
Yes.
so,
The
Yes.
so,
legendary Willis Johnson. Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
we grew up on KKDA. Actually, at a point, I listened to more KKDA than I did K104 or any other station at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because AM was jumping at one point, and it's like I feel it's a total privilege, the fact that I was able to work with a Millie Jackson, work with a RL Griffin, and all those different people. Like, shout out to Millie Jackson; those were some of the funnest times on radio with her.
I
So yeah,
bet.
yeah. Hey, and she was great with the Christmas presents too. She was awesome. She was awesome.
I bet. And you said RL, so that's RL. Is that RL Griffin from the
RL
Blue
Griffin,
RL
the Blues
Blues
Palace. I remember that.
Oh my
I
god.
with
remember
the
there was
hens?
with the hens. I
I was a
remember
hen before.
I wasn't even old enough to get in there when I was working at the station. So when I went to the Blues Palace, I was held up at the door, and RL was like, "Nah, he good, he good." So yeah, but the legendary RL Griffin, I mean, he gave me a tie on my graduation day. Shout out to him. Yeah.
That's what's up, Daci. You got a question?
Oh my god, so many questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So many off-air questions. I wanted to. Well, I'm just saying
Hmm.
because you name dropped. But okay, like as far as when you got into radio and you started doing like your interning and all that stuff, did you have to have a 9 to 5 to back you up while you were going through that situation? Because you said you weren't going back home. So what did you do to maintain or to stay motivated?
So I'm gonna be transparent, because that question, because of course when I started, and I think a lot of young people, especially while they're in college, they need to try to work while they're in school versus waiting till after they graduate, because then you're in that purgatory of, oh, I got a degree but I got no experience. So with that,
Mm-hmm.
I was still living on campus. My uncle, he got me a car, and my dad, he drove it from Alabama for me, so that definitely helped my mobility. So those 2 years I was finishing, excuse me, those 2 years I was finishing out school, I was still able to, I didn't have to worry about anything. But when the summer times did come, I had a buddy who lived up here. So I would crash at his house, during the summers and stuff like that, or when school was out and everything. But then when I got out, of course, you have to work hard to get what you want in this business. So I worked multiple jobs at one point in time, even to the point where I had 4 jobs at one point, even going to grad school. And it's just to the point of where how bad do you want it, just in
Right.
regards to anything? Because I know I could operate off 3 hours of sleep and be ready to go. So but yes, I did have to supplement my income, especially over time and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that means you built for that. You know what I'm saying? Because a
Yeah.
Right.
lot of people not built
Yeah.
for that, bruh. A
That's
lot of people
true.
not built for that 3 hours. Because I'm telling you, 3 hours worth of sleep for me, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I tell people this all the time. I'm a big guy, so I compare
Yeah.
myself to an excursion. You put $3 worth of gas in the excursion, it's not gonna take you far. 3 hours worth of sleep is not gonna do it for me.
You're not getting nothing out of it.
Nah, man. Hey, I'm gonna run
No.
out of gas. I'm gonna run out of gas pretty soon.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, everybody not built for these jobs, and you gotta know
That's
that
true.
though. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of the matter is, it goes back to the fact that you wanted it so bad that you were willing to make these sacrifices and push yourself to levels that other people just don't have.
And then that's what separates a lot of people with anything. How serious are you going to take something? And even with this business, and I love it. The fact that I'm able to still be a part of it, I feel it's a blessing. It's the fact of, you may come, like I've seen many people come in together with people and things like that, but sometimes it doesn't shake out like that. You have to do what's your best interest, and especially be the best team player, be as versatile as you can be, to the way that you're able to uplift the company or whatever situation you're in. And I've always just tried to be that in whatever space that they put me in. From Big Ken saw me when I was in undergrad, and Miss Smith, she didn't play no games. We used to have to be business casual. So I'd wear business casual clothes to the AM station running boards, to now where working hard, plugging away, to where I wouldn't say I might have a little following, but I got a little sizzle in the city. So, just working hard for that, so but I think it was all worth it, and I loved every bit of
We definitely gonna get to that because he being modest. Like he does have a following, and these, especially these young athletes in the Metroplex, they
it.
know who Ron Murray is,
Yeah.
and they know if they see him at the football game, at the basketball game, you better step your game up because now
Yeah.
you 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 might be beast of the week that week.
Or
So
Right.
hey, or you might be on the other side of that highlight. That's true.
yeah,
That almost.
yeah, cause he does. I'm telling you, y'all. He takes a lot of video at the games, takes a lot of pictures, does a lot of things. So these kids really gravitate to him, and they really want to impress him. You know what I'm saying? Because not only the beast of the week, they know that what I'm saying, his platform is gonna put some shine on them. So hey, he already knows these kids love to shine.
Yeah, oh
Right.
man, and especially in this social media era. And big shout out to all the student athletes out there. Like I appreciate those relationships so much, especially with all the coaches, the family, people in the community, and everything. Because I really do feel that it takes a village, even from just a parent standpoint. So when I do see these student athletes, of course, they do see me K104 Beast of the Week, High School Holla, and all those things. But I always make sure to have positive exchange, positive deposits for a lot of these young people, especially from dealing more and more with a lot of these younger student athletes and seeing a lot of their backgrounds. They may not have those positive deposits, or even in the worst cases, may not even have parents to where they're raising themselves. So I just
Right.
try to make sure to be the best representative I can be. And the way they leave, they can be like, man, if they don't like Ron Murray, it's because I ain't picked him as Beast of the Week, versus just like, it was a bad experience, because those are our future leaders of now. So we
Yeah.
have to appreciate them and lift them up.
Well, if they ain't get beast of the week, it's because they ain't go hard enough.
I
You
get
Don't
got
those
be
to
like
emails.
that.
I
you
get those
got to
emails
go
when it don't
harder.
work. Yeah.
You got to get more yards. You got to get more buckets. Whatever
Yeah.
it takes, you got to
Mm-hmm.
shine. And if you do what you need to do on your end, young folks, he
Mm-hmm.
gonna see you.
Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody.
That's what it amounts to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back right quick. We're gonna come
Yes.
back to the high school sports, but I want to go back to kind of when you talked about Millie Jackson. And I know that working at the station, you have celebrities come through there all the time, and you get a chance to meet these people. like, do you have like some celebrities or even some of the radio personalities at the station that you've come across that are kind of like your favorites?
I would say this: the biggest moment, and you won't be surprised because we've talked about it. Like the biggest moment, I would say, like of course I met a lot of people. When I met 3 6 Mafia, that made my day because that's my favorite rap group ever. So it was kind of a funny story because it where the old station was, it was like a production booth, but it was right by this vending machine. And a lot of rappers, they may have a different aroma on them, so that may lead them to the snack machine. So with that, I would just sit and watch him. And DJ Paul, he has, the arm, the thing on his arm and everything. So I looked and I was like, man. And so he turned around. I was like, "You're DJ Paul," and he was like, "You're you," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I like it. It made my day because DJ Paul and Juicy J, they were so cool, and like I met them, and I think that was probably like the highest point. And then I would say the first I would say artist I met was Ti, and that kind of blew me away because I was like, "Oh man, this is like a real star right now." He was barking on somebody too. He was upset about something. So, but nah, 3 6 Mafia. I think that definitely that might have been my favorite moment because I was like, I'm literally at a point now where I just was able to meet my favorite rappers,
Yeah.
and they were cool. Because that's always the best point. Because there's always the saying that you don't want to meet some of your favorite stars and idols, and it's true. So I was just
Mhm.
happy that like that was a great exchange when I met DJ Paul and Juicy J. That was real cool.
Yeah, see, that's his favorite rap group. Kind of like my favorite rap group is Wu Tang Clan,
Man,
but we're
shout out
not
to the
gonna
Wu
talk
Tang
about
man.
that.
Shout out to the
We're
Wu
gonna
Tang
talk
man.
about that
Shout
with
out to the
Ron
Wu man.
because I had to sell Ron on some
I
things at first because
yes,
Ron was very critical
I'm respecting
of
the Wu now.
the
I'm
Wu Tang
respecting the Wu.
Clan, and y'all already know. If y'all know Big Ken, y'all
Yeah,
already know how I feel.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was very disappointed in Ron, but
We've had exchanges. We've had
yeah, but we
exchanges.
hashed it out and we
Yeah.
cool now. So I get it when he's saying, when you meet celebrities like that, because I got a chance to actually meet a lot of the members of Wu Tang Clan
Mm-hmm.
and to meet them and to see how down to earth they are. You know what I'm saying? It's a different feeling when you're able to connect with them like that. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just for a brief moment,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because you never know how it'll make you feel. Now, we ain't celebrities, but we should take something from that in our day to day dealings because when you meet people on your day to day trek, you never know how you saying something to them is going to make them feel and going to leave them with that feeling.
Right.
Speak for
And
So,
yourself.
yeah.
yeah.
Daci J is a celebrity.
Oh, let's go,
Um,
Daisy. Let's
Well, I'm just
go.
saying. I'm just saying. We are not we not celebrities. I know Juicy J is. I'm just saying.
Mm.
Like we should take something from that. And even though we're not celebrities, like we should, what I'm saying, be humble as well as the celebrities should be humble as
Right.
well.
Yeah. And another moment that I had on the sports side, because I was born in Tacoma, Washington, so I grew up a Seattle Seahawk fan. But I grew up in Texas, but I was born in
mm,
Washington. And
mhm.
so my favorite Seahawk before Russell Wilson now was Joey Galloway.
Mm.
So when I met Joey Galloway, that was like childhood Ron came. Oh, I had to keep childhood Ron contained because I was like, oh my gosh. And it was at a bowl game, and it was crazy because I saw everybody that was coming out that was going to be behind the desk. I saw Jesse Palmer, then I saw the other host, and I was like, Joey Galloway got to be here. And I met Joey Galloway, and that was so cool, and he was cool. So that was probably like those two moments were probably my favorite moments because it was literally everything coming full circle from when I bought the Tear the Club Up Thugs CD to now I'm meeting 3 6 Mafia to having the Joey Galloway
Mm.
jersey, meeting Joey Galloway. That like I'm just I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to even have that.
Okay. So I got another question before I let Daisy ask her next question.
Hmm.
Now, I asked this question to our guest. Mount Rushmore.
Oh
It's
God.
got four people.
Okay.
So, with you being in radio, if you had a Mount Rushmore of radio personalities, who would you put on that Mount Rushmore radio personalities?
Oh man. All right, this is gonna be tough, and it's gonna be personal, but it's gonna be tough, and it may not be totally for, but I can say number one, I would say Dee Dee McGuire. Of course, she's here, Dee Dee, in the morning, and I say that because she grew up in the same. We didn't grow up together, of course,
Colleen.
but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's from Killeen, and so the fact even being here, I feel that's so surreal. To me, it's kind of like getting drafted by the Bulls, and I get to see Jordan practice every day. I get to see Jordan on the court every day, and I'm just like, man, that's amazing. Then another person I would probably throw up there, I would throw Cat Daddy. I would throw Cat Daddy up there.
Yes.
He's definitely someone, and it's like as great as he is behind the boards and on the mic, he's even a greater person. So I would definitely give him that. Another person I would give as far as like radio personalities from my Mount Rushmore, I would give credit to Talking Sports of Roger B. Brown. Well, Roger B. Brown. Like I said, God rest his soul, because he gave me the opportunity. I was just a guy that walked in the building. He ain't know me from a can of paint, and he shared his space with me as he did many other people. And just the fact of all the things he was doing, um he definitely deserves a lot more credit for a lot of things that he did. And I just know that as great as he was, he was even greater for all the people around, because he extended, because there's like that microphone, a lot of people don't like to share that microphone. So with that, to even bring somebody in and be like, okay, I'm gonna let you do you, that this shows how big of a heart you have. And then my last person, my Mount Rushmore, I'm gonna throw Millie Jackson in there. I'm gonna put Millie in the four, because Millie, she was great, and she's a legend in so many different ways. And I probably had some of the best laughs, and probably done got cussed out some of the greatest ways while working with her. Shout out to Millie Jackson.
Mm.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Millie Jackson. She got this album cover. On the back of the album
Hey,
cover
the
is
original
her.
hot girl. She the
Yeah,
original hot girl. Yeah.
she has a globe, and she's sitting with her hands like this around that globe, and you can see all the cleavage, Ohio, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
behind that thing.
Yeah.
And as a young fella seeing that, you know what I'm saying, Millie Jackson stuck in my head. So before I even heard a song from her, I remember that album cover. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's my Millie Jackson story.
Yeah. Yeah. She was great. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Daisy.
Okay. Like we're gonna bring it back. All right. I wanted to because he just went off. It's
Yeah.
okay though. It's Ken. He had a moment. I wanted to say like somebody like me who does not have a communications degree, but I'm interested in starting like or having a radio career. I've had a podcast for 4 years. I'm here with Big Ken now doing my thing. What kind of advice would you give somebody like me who has like a corporate job, but you want to get into radio?
I would just say you have to work, because I know, like we're just talking about here, everything doesn't happen overnight. Because I know there would be plenty of things that I will record, and it would get as many listens or views as a dead man. But I didn't let that stop me though. You know what I mean? Because you have to keep hacking at the tree, pounding at the stone, or whatever the case may be. So you have to work. Granted, nobody may be watching, but at that point, people may be watching. And then with me, I know I wouldn't say it's my fear, but my issue is always, if I stop, then that's when that opportunity could have been there. So the
Mm-hmm.
advice I would give is just always create content and always just try to better yourself, but even more so networking, because we would love to be in this business and really anything in life. We're taught to work hard, grind, 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 which is totally true. But at the same time, you got to know who's who, who's the gatekeeper, who's the person that actually has the power. And the fact, like, I've working in radio, there's so many people that do other side things that could possibly confuse other people or lead them in the wrong way, to then that bitters them and whatever that career may be for them. But I would say you
Mm-hmm.
just got to keep plugging away. You got to keep networking. But most of all, just make sure you got a plan and know exactly what you want to do, because you are seeing now where people who do have podcasts are getting radio shows now,
Mm-hmm.
to where it's literally their podcasts are broken down just to fit the radio schedule. And it's
Right.
open now, because you don't have to go to school to be a journalist now. It's
Right.
like blogging changed everything.
Yeah.
So like the opportunity is definitely there. I would just say keep your plan, keep making the content, and like you said, you said it during this, you are a star. So then don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So yeah, you just got to make it happen.
Ryan Murray said it. Y'all heard him.
Okay, Ron. I got another hard question for you.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna rock with start bench cut.
Okay.
And
Oh.
because you're in radio, I came up with this list. Now it might be easy.
Mhm.
It might not be. We're gonna start bench cut. We got Tom Joyner, we got Steve Harvey, and we got Willis Johnson.
That's too easy.
Well, for
Oh
you,
man, that's Tom Joyner's the super OG to me. And like I said, my Mount
Mm-hmm.
Rushmore was a bit personal, so that's the only reason he wasn't on my Mount Rushmore. So that like so is no slight at him. But definitely gotta start Tom Joyner. Oh man. I had to see, shout out to Willis Johnson, the Strawberry Letter. If you know, you know. Big
yep.
shout out to
Mm-hmm.
him. So I would, oh man, I gotta bench Willis. But I don't want to cut Steve like that, but that's just how it falls. But I would start Tom Joyner, bench Willis, then cut Steve Harvey in the most respectful of ways.
Steve
Yeah.
wore a lot of hats though, so
Well, to
he's
me, if
good, but
if you really look at it, the stuff that Steve does is what Willis Johnson was doing at
yeah,
KKVA.
yeah, the same blueprint.
Yeah, it's just kind of the same
Mm-hmm.
blueprint. But hey, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But okay, yeah. All right. So I got the next question is
Really, kid?
I'm just saying.
What's the next
No, it
question?
wasn't no shade. You know what I'm saying? But hey, um, is there any pressure working with the big names that you mentioned, like Didi, like Cat Daddy, like Bebe, like people who are known around the Metroplex? Is there any pressure working with them?
I feel there's pressure with this job. Period. It's about what you put on yourself, because granted, it's a job, but at the end of the day, everything's about competition, and you want to put your best foot forward. So with that, every time that I crack the mic, I appreciate being in that space, but I know that I need to execute to where all these people, the people you just named, don't mind having me back, or do want to have me back. So to me, the pressure, I don't think it's even just so much the people. I think it's the pressure knowing I need to deliver the best way I know I could deliver, because I think there may have been maybe after I started, because of course when I started, you're learning people, you're learning, so everybody's identity is a bit larger than what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
after I started getting more into myself, I think there may have been only one situation to where I may have felt a bit of a pressure, but then my reality came back to me. It's kind of like, if you've been practicing, if you've been trying, you shouldn't have any pressure, you shouldn't have any anxiety or be anxious, because this is what you've been ready for this.
Yeah.
So it's like, when that basket goes in, you shouldn't be surprised at this point in time. When that opportunity comes, you shouldn't be surprised, because this is what you've been working for. Like, I literally started my career with my back on the wall in the AM station with 5 other people in front of me. So now that I'm still here, if someone throw me the oop and I dunk it, I'm not surprised. But pressure is what you put on yourself. But pressure makes diamonds, and sometimes that's where your best work can come. But I think the pressure comes
Mm-hmm.
more so from what I put on myself versus being in the same place with other people.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this: when you started out, like I would be listening to the radio sometimes, and I would hear commercials, and I'd be
Mm.
like, "Man, that's Ron reading that."
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Have you ever had a Mayweather moment where where you were reading something and you just couldn't, like, it was something word or anything like that? Because I mean, hey, if you listen to radio long enough, even if everything don't go perfect, every
Mm.
broadcast ain't perfect. People mess up.
Mm.
Have you ever had a moment like that where you was like, man, this ain't working right now?
If y'all could hear me off air sometimes, I'll just say that. I would say everybody has moments like that, and I think one of the little secrets, of course, just like some people do have trouble with words, but you'll be amazed how many people that have speech impediments that work
Mm.
in radio. That's pretty surprising as well. But no, I definitely have those things, because the commercial part, like, another aspect of what I do here at the station, I work in production. And really, that's definitely kept me in the building a lot of time. And that's why I tell a lot of these young people that do want to get into, radio, media, entertainment. There's a lot of people with talent, and the companies will go make talent sometimes. So with that, it's what else can you do that helps keep the building up, to where it makes you, a novelty in some
Mm-hmm.
instances. You know what I mean? So with that, and I got to give I hate it because I missed his name. And I got to give a big kudos to Mario White, because he was the head producer, one of the head producers when I started here, and I wanted to learn how to do production. And like I said about this business, everybody doesn't want to share information or share time. but he
Facts.
definitely did that. And the fact that he was able to do that, that has helped my career and really has kept me in this business altogether. So yeah, anybody that does want to get into radio, remember there's a lot of people that got talent, but make sure you have that technical skill. But yeah, there are definitely some words, especially there was one word I was killing it, and sometimes it's not even the word. Sometimes you find out how real country you sound when you start reading certain things. So I'm like, oh no. I was like, botanicals. Oh no, I can't read it like that. I was like, oh no, hold on, let me get some water. Let me get, you know. So, but nah, there definitely have been times because if there was just a rollout of all the B rolls and the things we said off air, that might go platinum. Hey, y'all might enjoy that.
Did you hey, after I seen the Mayweather thing, I'm like that was wrong.
Yeah,
Like
that
for
was
that to even get
yeah.
out,
Mm.
They
like that
did they
was
did Floyd cold blooded. Excuse me.
that was cold. But I
Yeah.
mean,
Webby
hey,
too.
I
Remember
get who
Webby when he
Hey,
was doing
Charlamagne.
the
Charlamagne. I was
yes.
like, whoa.
Charlotte McGahee.
Say,
Man, but shout out to
man,
Coach Webster,
that
man.
man said he's a rapper. He
Yeah.
doesn't do radio. He's not built for drops. You know what I'm saying? So just
Man,
leave it be.
some of these artists in those drops, man. Woo, man.
Oh
Not
my
talking
god.
about Webby in general, because he'll give you some good drops. But some of these rappers in those drops, there's a reason why they don't want to read off that paper, man. It's yee.
Yeah, it's a reason why some of them say I don't write my rhymes
But
because you
then,
can't read
yeah.
them if you wrote them.
And then some of them, you find out how smart they really are too. Like,
It,
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
that's a
Big,
fact though.
hey, big shout out to the game. You find out how smart. Like just a quick story. So we had a drop sheet. We had a drop sheet, and the game
Mhm.
came in, and he was like, "Oh, you think I'm one of them that can't read?" And I'm like, "No, we just got a drop sheet," and he just killed the whole drop sheet. And it's like there are some people who have big shout out to all the school districts. Hey, big shout out to them, man. Yeah, big shout out to them.
All right, Daci.
Oh my god. What the- I cannot believe you just did that. Okay. Um I wanted to say like what's next for you? Like you just gonna stick with the radio, or are you trying to be like on ESPN? Because apparently somebody got fired, so they looking for some
I kind of look
replacements.
at it like this. Of course, there's plans and things I want to do, but the way my life has been set up, it's kind of one of those things where I never thought I'd get into a college. I got into a college. Never thought that I'd graduate college. Was able to graduate college and then go on to get two master's degrees. So really, it's almost every point in life I've kind of beaten the odds and unsurmountable things. So really, it's like you know, I wouldn't say my life is bad. I definitely love life and there are goals I have, but I do make sure to just be open to whatever happens because, of course, this space, to the point you made, it could be more than radio, it could be more than
Mm-hmm.
television. And now you don't even need the four-letter networks to thrive, especially if you can get a following on social media. You can get a following
Mm-hmm.
within your city. So then at that point, they may come looking for you. And then really that situation may not even fit you sometimes because you
Right.
will see some people where hey, there is a bigger opportunity, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the best situation for you. So with me right now, I do have some things I definitely want to do. There's a documentary I want to work on. Yeah, I do want to do more with film. I've been trying to play a little bit with that because of course I do my thing with iMovie, but we're going to see what's next. I'm open to a lot of things, and I always keep stuff in the works, but I like to talk about it when the ink's dry. I just put it like that. Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get too far gone and before we wrap up, we
Yeah.
gotta talk about the Mr. High School Holla.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I guess that would be your alter ego.
Yeah.
So
That's what I hear about him. He
yeah,
a good
so
guy though. He a good guy.
my first question with that is what made you so passionate about high school sports because that goes beyond like just a basic love for something like you're passionate about high school sports, bruh.
Hmm.
So
Um,
what drove that from the very beginning?
I would say what drove it. Like, there's more of a story to it, but to me, it's just the fact of the opportunity presented itself, and really sometimes you just have to be ready in the moment because even when we did the high school Highland, this is just a little behind the scenes thing. It started as an accidental air check. We were just in there. We were working on some stuff. Then boom, an accidental air check has turned into years at this point in time. Like I'm happy to say, like there are kids that we were showing love and shouting out that have graduated now, that are adults. There are some kids I'm able to see be like, man, you remember me? Nah, man, you shouted me out. So with that, and to me, it's just another positive aspect for that. Because even if you take away the sports part of it, it's showing love and lifting up these kids in a space to where there's so much going on. So it's like I do get excited. Like I'm someone who don't have kids. So just the fact that someone can be a good mother, good father to their children, why not be someone that could parade and cheer on their children as well? Because and I'm not for sure if you all even seen when we do Snapchat kickback. Sometimes bringing in the cheerleaders in studio, they have a good time. Hearing some of the stories of what some of these kids go home to, and to be able to give them those few seconds, that one evening of positivity, and even I extend myself to these kids sometimes where it's like, hey, you need a letter of recommendation? I'm here. This just isn't a radio thing. This is something. This to me, it's a communal thing, and
Yeah.
that's why I do love working at the station here now. I love the fact that I can get out where I need to go, be out in the streets, talk to people, meet people left and right, because really we all need each other at the end of the day. And as I said earlier, these kids are going to be the future, and they're going to remember what you poured into them versus just like, all the bad stuff. So if I could just be that guy, Mr. High School Holla, showing love to these kids, and that makes them feel a lot better, I feel that I've definitely planted the seed and been able to give back.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Now I know this might be a difficult question for you because you've seen a lot of talent. Who's the greatest high school athlete that you've been able to witness yourself? Like you was at the game, football, basketball, where you was like, man, this kid is the real deal. Like I've never seen anything like this before.
So I'll preface that by saying like Kyler Murray, the GOAT, as far as high school. I'm gonna preface it by saying that. But I can say personally, and I'm aging myself a little bit. The best player I ever played against in high school, I would say Reggie McNeil out of Lufkin. He was phenomenal. We played against him the year they won state, and that was the year Vince Young, he was doing his thing in Houston, but Reggie McNeil. But then I would say as far as now covering, I think I had a lot of fun watching Jaquindon Jackson out of Duncanville.
Ooh.
I had a lot of fun watching him because, of course, I got to get out to. I try to get out to as many games as I can, and did like you. I will go to a lot of different games to show kids love. I'll put it like I just don't stay at the I-20 schools. Like I'll go wherever.
Yeah.
But those Duncanville teams, I definitely made sure I had to go see what Jaquindon Jackson was going to do, and I definitely feel that if he was able to pull off those 2 state championships, not get hurt in the last game, I believe we would have been talking about him like we do talk about Kyler Murray. Of course, Kyler is the GOAT, but I think he would have been in that rare air. And another one, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who plays at Ohio State right now. He's phenomenal. And Prince Dorville, who plays defensive end at Highland Park. Like there's like the Metroplex has just phenomenal, great talent. But my bad, to answer your question, I would say like Jaquindon Jackson. He was definitely great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I saw him run over us a lot. When my oldest son was playing at Skyline,
Yeah.
shout out to Skyline,
Yeah.
shout out to Duncanville. They got a lot of intertwining, and as far as coaching and the
Right.
culture, the schools are going to be tied. You know what I'm saying, because of the
Exactly.
coaching. But yeah, I got to see him a lot, so I can't argue with that. And
Did you see him the whole game, or y'all only got like a half? Because I know
no,
Southern
I was
gave
at
you.
all games. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no. I
So
mean, did he play? Because
yeah,
Southern those
unfortunately, yeah, they left him in a
oh
pretty good
no.
piece of the game, and a couple of
Yeah.
my son played varsity 3 years, and I think the 2 years it got kind of out of hand.
Man, shout out Big Kenny, man. Shout out Big Kenny.
So but hey, it is what it is, and I can't disagree with you, man. That's one of those kids who even when I first saw him as a freshman,
Hmm.
I knew he was different. I
Yeah.
knew he was special.
It was hard to
So,
keep him off the field too. Like some, even when they would put him at receiver early on, it's like, oh, it's gonna be hard to keep him off the field. He coming, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hmm.
So big shout out to him, and hopefully he can get on track at Utah
Right.
and do
Yeah.
some big things at Utah because I'm a fan of his as well, and I'm ready to see what he's gonna do in Utah, man. So hey, hey, we cheering for you, bruh.
Definitely.
So as we get ready to wrap up, I know that what I'm saying, you do high school sports, but I also know you're a sports person in general.
Yes.
So I gotta put a little bit more pressure on you. I'm not gonna ask you your favorite sport, your favorite team. We're gonna leave those out
All
because
right.
we already said your favorite team was the Seahawks,
Seahawks.
Mhm.
and we know you like Russell Wilson. So we just
Shout out
gonna
to
leave.
Mm-hmm.
Russ.
We're gonna leave that where it is.
Sierra husband. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, start bench cut for sports, right?
Okay.
You live in Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
so we're gonna go start bench cut. Emmett Smith, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton.
Oh
Oh,
God.
quick work. That's easy. Give me Barry, Sweetness, and Emmett.
So you gonna cut Emmett?
I just gave an order, but if that was the question, like, but it's tough because to me it's like I give it to Barry, and it's like kudos to Emmett, but sometimes I just think, what if Barry had an O line like that,
Facts.
and what he was able to do, and then with Walter Payton, and I got a chance to read his book. It's a very good book, and just the fact of there was a point in time where he was literally the only offensive weapon for the Bears. And of
Facts.
course, in the NFL at the time, the aerial game was non-existent. So just what they were able to do and not have a lot around them, that's why I put them before Emmett. Not trying to knock Emmett or whatever like that, but I feel what Barry was able to do with the Detroit Lions, like it was amazing. And not having any help, then of course Walter Payton, then Emmett, and that's where I would go with start bench cut.
Okay. Okay. Daisy, you got any other questions?
No.
Okay, so before we end it, I want to pick your brain, and maybe somebody else out there would want to hear this. Daisy asked you earlier about the advice for working in radio, but overall, do you have any motivational words that you can give to somebody else out there that whatever field they're interested in, something that has helped you, persevere? Because like I said, radio industry is hard. It's cutthroat
Mhm.
from what I've been told. So it's one of those things that you really have to push yourself. So what could you tell somebody else that will motivate them to get to that next level?
I would say definitely it all starts with you. And for me, it's like that because I love my family. My family's been there for me, but I don't have a big family. And then even me coming up to Paul Quinn, like my parents dropped me off they dropped me off here, and it was up to me to do whatever I needed to do. So at the end of the day, your flame's only gonna burn as bright as hard as you work. Because there are some people who they love blaming other people for why things don't
Mm.
happen. Or what I find funny is when people like to claim politics, but you're not even in the game enough to understand the politics. So with that, I would say you need to just go hard, but even more so, go hard in your own individual space, but work smarter, not harder. Because even something, of course, when you're young, you're going to try to do everything you can to get on. But with that, you got to make sure your mind shifts to where that, okay, I'm here, my foot is cemented. Now what's next? So
Right.
those will be the two things I would say. Definitely, it starts with you. It's like a old Kanye West lyric that I use all the time for motivation. I look in the mirror when I need some help. So with that, I'm gonna be the one that solves my problems. I'm not someone, even if someone does me wrong or stab me in the back, I think about what could I have done at that point in time to where I could have prevented that person doing that. So you have to have a self-onus about all of that. Then of course have a plan. Those are two things I would say.
Yeah, I think Ron left us with some great words, and I
Yeah.
did sense a little bit of shade in there, um, because there's some guys out there who always say, me and Ron always laugh about the guys who said they was gonna make it to the league, they was gonna go D1. But it's politics, man. You know what I'm saying? The coach wouldn't let me be great,
Oh
man. The
man.
coach wouldn't throw me the ball.
If
The coach wouldn't
anybody
let me
ever,
play.
if they ever started saying this with, but the coach, they lying off top. I started, but he lying, man. He lying. No, if they started saying this with, but the coach, oh, they lying. Especially some of these smaller schools where it's like, hey man, I've seen some of those teams. You just may not have had it. That's what it is.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about Paul Quinn because we know a
We've
few
heard all the
people.
stories.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of those stories at the Quinn. So and those of you who told the stories know who you are.
Man, Nick
Wow.
Saban came to my house, but you had Paul Quinn. What type of charges you got? What? What did you do to fall from Alabama to Paul Quinn? Oh, I could write a book about that. Speaking of
Yeah.
film, that might be my next movie. That might be my movie. The
See,
great
see,
the great lies.
see, people. We here at the Five Session Podcast, we spark ideas every
Yeah.
week. We come with ideas.
Oh
So the
man.
thing about it is, Ron just came with the idea on the show. You see it here live. Y'all heard it. So when it comes to fruition,
It
we
started
gonna need
here.
to have a part in it or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like we just trying to get our little part in. We just, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, straight up. It'll be just like another 30 for 30. What if I told you all these guys lied about where they went to college?
Oh my
Oh, that's
god.
hey, right there. We ready. We ready.
Facts.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's gonna blow up quick because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot of people out there living that lie, brother.
And they're gonna be looking for me too, because they're gonna know who I'm talking about.
Well, hey man, we appreciate you coming
I
on and spending
appreciate
this
y'all,
time
man.
with us, answering these questions, sharing your knowledge, and your background, man. I think your story is one of the few that people probably had no clue of who you really are, because a lot of them hear your voice and especially doing radio, they never saw your face
Right.
before. They see you in the grocery store. Now when they see you around, you might get a few people stop you and be like, "Yeah, I know you Mr. High School Holla." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You the
Yeah.
one that didn't get my son Beast of the Weekend. He had
And I've had
234
that
yards rushing on 9 attempts.
I've had that conversation before too.
So yeah, so I told y'all he's a
Yeah.
celebrity, and it's just gonna keep growing, and it's just gonna keep building,
Yeah.
and one day he's gonna be the man, and he's gonna be mentoring and having interns of his own.
Man, I look at it like this, like from the far stretch of it, if I can plant a seed to where that makes me an underground legend at some point, or I get to the highest peak in Valley. I just appreciate every single person through this, and especially it's positive, it's legitimately positive, and we just trying to make everybody better in the whole process.
And before he gets up out of here, y'all, I have a video. I'm gonna post the whole video on our website
Yeah.
and on our Facebook page so you can see it yourself. But this is just a little taste of kind of what Ron does at the studio. So before he gets up out of it, let me show you this video right quick.
In radio, there are 4 times of day: morning, afternoon, night, and the overnight. These are the Overnight Chronicles. More heat for you. That's another Club Quarantine mix from K104. Number 1 for your hip hop and R&B, Ron Murray, hanging out with you all night, overnight, getting this quick money real quick. But first off, I want to give a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. Everybody in the healthcare field, everybody that are out there driving trucks, everybody that are in those warehouses, everybody that's on the front lines. Thank you so much for making sure that we are helped and get everything that we need during this Rona season. You are appreciated. Wherever you're working right now, hit us up at K104 FM on the gram. Ron Murray, I'm hanging out with you all night, and I got to go figure out what I want to eat. Ooh, I'm hungry on this overnight. Let's go.
Now, see
Y'all
that
gotta see
good
the
work?
rest. Y'all gotta see the rest
See
of
how
it.
that
Yeah.
flow was?
That was a great tease. That was a great
Hey,
tease.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you need to go see the whole video because the second half is totally different from the first half, and you're gonna be surprised at the second half that you see. So go to
True
our
story.
page,
All
yeah,
a true story.
yeah, go to our page and check that out. But again, we appreciate you coming on and joining us,
Yes.
bro. Much success to everything that you touch, and we know, you know what I'm saying, maybe we can get you back one day, you know what I'm saying, when you big time, we'd be like, you know what I'm saying, we had him on earlier before everybody else had, caught on to what was going on. So now we
Yeah.
know what it is, and he got his own show, you know what I'm talking about?
At that point, maybe Paul Quinn will have a football team too. But definitely, hey, I appreciate you, Big Ken. I appreciate you, Miss Daci. Thank you so much. Man, big shout out to Paul Quinn. Support your local HBCU, man. Shout out to the
Already.
Quinn.
Ron Murray, Mr. High
Ron
School
Murray.
Holla. All right, bruh. I holla.
I appreciate y'all.
Peace. Man. You know what? Just him being a personal friend of mine and hearing the stories and watching his journey, what I'm saying, through radio and seeing the things that, that I'm telling you, it's things that we've talked about that I think the average person probably would have given up because of the simple
Mm-hmm.
fact of I think the stuff gets really hard. But with anything, you have to have a passion for what you do, and that's what I
Facts.
respect about Ron and about many people out there who do what they're passionate about for a paycheck. And that's
Right.
what we want to work toward in life. Whatever you are passionate about, you want to continue doing it till you get to a point to where you're doing what you're passionate about for your actual paycheck.
Right.
So big shout out to Ron. Keep doing the stuff that he's doing in the community. The K104 Beast of the Week, Mr. High School Holla. It's a huge segment. And I'm telling you, these kids go crazy about it.
I don't blame them.
For real. So, Miss Daci, before we get up
Yes.
out of here, let the people know something because I know you got something to say. I know you got
Oh my
something to tell
God.
them. You know what I'm saying? She always got some eyelashes or something popping. Let the people know what you got going this week.
Well, first of all, shout out to Ron Murray. I was so excited about the interview just to hear him talk, and tell us about his radio career. So thank you so much for coming on to our show.
Yeah, he does have a
Um,
radio voice. He does. He does have that.
yes, yes. And so it's I'm just more like, I just want to sit here and listen to
Yeah,
him talk
he's
or
got a great
whatever.
voice. Great
Very
voice.
motivational. So shout out to him. So the Daci J show, we closed out season 1. We're working on season 2. Got some things popping off. So bear with me. I'm excited about all the things that are about to happen. So you can go like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. These lashes I actually got from the Crayon Case. So if you're familiar with them, who Super Sin is, you can go to www.thecrayoncase.com. I think they actually have a sale right now. So I ended up only paying like $15 for like a pack of 3. So that's a good little sale, ladies. I'm still with Slay Bella. They just got some newness popping off. So once I get all that together, I'll lock that on you too. I also became a brand ambassador for BoxyCharm. So when I get my first box, I'm going to do a whole video for y'all of all the little dopeness that they're going to send to me. Maybe drop some stuff, maybe do some giveaways. Who knows? I think that's about it though. Shout out to everybody who's been liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank y'all for always tuning in to the Fire Session Podcast. You can follow me, the Daci J Show, on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to follow my personal page, which is I am Daci J on Instagram, just know I do screen. We still doing it. I mean, we still single in these streets too. So if you want to take your girl
Oh
out on a
my
pandemic
God.
date, I am pandemic dating, little FaceTime date. I prefer iPhones or Apple, people with Apple products. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh
They
wow.
can. I'm just saying
So
it's hard.
she
Them green dots is
discriminating.
I do discriminate. Them green dots. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
It's so annoying. It's not
Y'all are
aesthetically pleasing.
y'all already know Daci J has this set of parameters, and it's just she's super picky. So fellas, if you're gonna step up, make sure you got your ducks in order. Make sure you got your game on tight, cause she got high expectations for you. So I respect
What's
that.
wrong with that?
I
What's wrong
respect
with
that.
that?
Hey. Well, y'all know y'all can holler at me, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. You can holler at us, follow, like, and subscribe us on YouTube, The Fire Session
Yes.
Podcast, on IG, The Fire Session Podcast, and on Facebook, The Fire Session Podcast. So, we don't want to hear the excuses. We out
Right.
here everywhere. People were like, we can't find you on YouTube. Now we live on YouTube. The videos are up. Go check us out. Every week we coming with different interviews. We coming with different fire sessions. That's the round table with our fire friends. And we
Yes.
talking about some interesting things. So follow, like, and subscribe all the pages so you don't miss out on anything. And at the end of the day, we just want to bring you some great content and, make you laugh a little bit, educate you a little bit, maybe even irritate you a little bit. But if it improves your life,
I mean,
then that's what we about. So join us next week, next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We're going to have another session that brings something hot to you. So we appreciate you tuning in every week. But we're going to have to get up out of here so we can go get us something to eat like Ron did. All
man.
right? So y'all have a good one. Be safe. You know what I'm saying? Rona's still out there, so be careful, y'all. All right, we'll holla. Y'all already know it's the Fire Session podcast. Peace.